A zombie apocalypse story. Part 16. Alone. The sea of undead in front of us was growing larger, their fists pummeling on the screen. The door to the back of us was no better, the numbers banging and pressing against the door. Panic ran through my head. There was no way out. We were trapped. I sat down on a table. John put his backpack on the ground and started to rummage through it as I stared out at the screen. I looked around for something we could use. Nutty ideas ran through my head, but one jumped out. John was following my train of thought. I grabbed a microwave on the opposite table and found an extension cord and plugged it in. John pulled out a small container of petrol. We then proceeded to put any flammable item we could find inside, along with a scalpel to start a spark. John pulled a small oxygen cylinder out from a cupboard and knocked off the valve, and I carried the microwave over to the counter. Okay, on the count of 3, lift the screen, chuck the microwave in the oxygen tank, duck, cross your fingers, and have a little cry, I said. Sounds like a plan? John groaned, lifting up the cylinder. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, oh, fuck it, 3. I pushed the screen up. John hit the cook button on the microwave and shoved it out, and I pushed out the tank. I tried to pull the screen back down, but a couple of creatures were spread-eagled on the counter. I pulled it down as far as it would go. Me and John ducked down. Think it'll work? I asked. Well, if not, we're utterly fucked. What setting did you put it on? Popcorn. There's a joke in there, I know. An explosion interrupted me. Although we were ducked behind the counter, we felt the shockwave pass over us and saw a flash of fire and flying glass. As soon as the shockwave had faded, we stood up and leapt over the counter. The sea that was there before was not completely destroyed by any means, but it had taken off limbs and floored them, allowing us to run through the smoke. The way towards the main entrance was still choked with dead, so we went straight, which was still not much better. I grabbed the cleaning trolley and pushed it in front of me, straight into their midst. John was behind me. We slammed into the crowd. I jumped up onto the trolley, ran across, kicked a creature in the face, feeling its teeth snap. The route ahead of us was more clear. We closed a set of double doors and put a nearby chair through the handles, slowing the dead at least for a little while. We stopped to catch our breath. Which way is it? Back the way we came. But I don't think our buddies are going to let us through. The only other way is to go down 2 floors and head out the loading bay. Something snapped, not the door. We blocked, but the door in between me and John. John stepped backwards, dead spilled out. We both backed up. John was near the stairs on the way out, but between me and him a dozen undead, their eyes locked on me. John moved forward to attack. No, don't. Look, I know the hospital, I'll find a way out. John looked like he wanted to say something, but before he could, I shouted to make myself heard over the dead. Get out. Wait an hour, and if I'm not back by then, head home. John looked solemn but nodded. See you in a bit, then, he yelled. Yeah, no worries, I called back. The sound of wood splintering drew my attention away from John as he disappeared down the stairs. The door we blocked was starting to give. I headed down the corridor. The dead were mercifully thin and easily avoidable. I made my way to another stairwell and peeked through the glass. I couldn't see anything on the other side as I opened it. Damn! These stairs did not go down, only up. But if I went up, I could probably make my way round and back down again, avoiding the horde. I couldn't see another option, so I went up to the first floor. I burst on to the floor just in time to see something large and red flashing at me. It hit me. Pain erupted from my forehead. Blood trickled down. It felt like someone had hit me with a brick. The source of the object was clear. A creature about 10 feet away, now shambling towards me as my head began to spin. I fought to remain conscious. I looked down at the floor. A fire extinguisher. That was what hit me. I backed up to the stairwell door and reached into my satchel. 5 feet away. 4. 3. The creature stopped and dropped to its knees before collapsing. I slid back against the door, my crossbow dropping next to me. The practice had been worth it. Not sure how long I sat there on the floor. I pulled myself up and retrieved my bolt, a bloody task as it had pierced the eyeball. I staggered down the corridor, clutching my head. I was seeing double. I looked through the door windows, seeing undead occupants in all of them. Near the end of the corridor, I found a room with no one in it. I tried the handle. It was open. I poked my crossbow in first and scanned the room. Just an office, books lining 2 walls. The third was a large window with the blinds drawn across. A handsome mahogany desk with a swivel leather chair faced opposite the window. So, this is where the NHS budget went. I locked the door behind me and dropped the shades, and lumbered to the desk, put my crossbow on the table and sat on a chair. There was a mini fridge with bottled water. I opened one up and looked to see if we had any painkillers in the bag. I was in luck. I swallowed 4 of whatever they were and reclined the chair. The room started to spin. Just a second. That's all I need. Just 1 second. I awoke for a start, snatched up my crossbow and fired. The bolt hit the door. Nothing was there. No banging, nothing. My head was pounding. I searched my pockets for my phone. Not there. Crap. Must have dropped it. I looked at the clock on the wall. 8:15. I was out for a while. I stood up and the room span again, forcing me to sit. I tried to log on to the PC, but it was password protected. In a fit of rage, I threw every single item on that damn desk to the floor. It made a satisfying smash as it hit the floor. Banging began on the door. Shit, that was a mistake. I wandered over to the door and pulled back the shade. Dead eyes greeted me. I backed away and looked at the ceiling. Solid. Shit. I ran over to the wall and found them solid. Ran over to the window. A 25-foot drop when a dark night greeted me. I picked up my crossbow, retrieved the bolt from the wall and put it in my satchel. I walked back to the window, extended the baton and hit it. It took a few hits before I had made a large enough hole to climb through. Okay, I can do this. I've done it in video games a million times. I can, oh crap, I'm gonna die. I never liked heights. I got vertigo looking out the hospital window sometimes, on a normal work day, let alone throwing myself out of one. The door splintered, and it forced me to jump. As I fell, the rules for surviving a high drop ran through my head, knowledge I'd gained when I was bored one night and couldn't sleep, so I just googled random things on the internet. Land on the balls of your feet, lean forward, and roll. Protects your head. All good advice, but organising that as you're falling is hard. The ground rose up to greet me, and I hit, roaring on impact. I landed flat on my back, winded. I realised I was alive and coughed, which soon turned into a laugh. I gazed up at the sky, chuckling. Oh fuck! I rolled to the right as a creature hit the ground where I was a fraction of a second before. Still laughing, I got up, booted the creature in the head, and looked back up at the window. A few more dead were taking a plunge. I stepped away and let gravity do the work for me. John Bentov waited for me. I headed off sight through the woods, following the main road past the Tesco's. It was dark, the street lights still had power. That was something, but it would be dangerous to travel like this. Although I wanted to get back and make sure no one worried, I wanted to come back alive most of all. They would just have to forgive me. I selected a 2-floor detached house for my home, away from home. I broke open the back door with a crowbar and swept the downstairs. Empty. I headed upstairs and cleared it. Apart from one ring. It was the only one left. I knocked. No response. I pushed the door open, aiming my flashlight in, closely followed by the crossbow. The light swept the bedroom. A body. On the bed. It was a man in his late 40s, blue overalls. He had a good week's worth of stubble that matched his long, greasy, jet black hair. Jack was on the name tag. He didn't seem dead, at least what passes for dead these days. I moved closer, the flashlight illuminated the bed more clearly. Blood was splashed on the white sheets. I backed off and stuck my head under the bed. Nothing there. I sat up and looked closer. The source of the blood soon became evident. A large knife and cut wrist. I took a step closer to him and cautiously put my hand on his neck. I found a weak pulse. Part 17. Sidetracked. Coming soon.